All right, so it's been 3 months since I started with Sharesies, somewhere around 3 months, and lots happened, man. Let's be honest, right? So, it's actually today is Thursday, the official level 2 lockdown level placement thingy, and yeah, I mean, geez, it's been a pretty crazy time for all of us here in New Zealand. Stoked to be at level 2. Everything's starting to calm down, but today's topic, what we're going to be talking about. Is it a good time to start investing in Sharesies? And what have I learned after 3 months, right? I'm going to go behind the screen soon and show you my portfolio, what are the things I've invested in, and sort of my thoughts about them, because each one has its own little trait and why I did it, as well as there's a few little things I've just really thought about. One of the biggest things I want you guys to know just before we get into it is think of investing as a savings account, but don't put money in there that you're not willing to potentially lose. There's a really good chance you're not going to lose anything or everything, but there's always a big risk of it happening. So make sure you do your research before you invest, and only invest if you can invest. It's a big disclaimer right there. Apart from that, the market's been smashed right now, right? So pretty much everything hit the ground. Like a third of the price they were trading for is where they were sitting. I think, yeah, about a third was the lowest at the peak, and now everything's slowly starting to come back up. I believe personally it is a good time. The question in my head is now the best time, or is the future going to be the best time? Now, something I'm still trying to get my head out of is this isn't cryptocurrency. When Bitcoin was going, everyone had that little carrot dangled in front of them. So a lot of people were buying, a lot of people were panic buying, a lot of people were panic selling. If you're thinking of that as investing, probably don't get into it. Everything in investing is a long-term strategy. The idea behind it is you want to invest in companies, get small dividends return, and reinvest them as well. So over time, as the companies get bigger and bigger and better, your shares will be worth more money. And then one day, if you need the money, hopefully it's not for at least 2 years minimum, potentially longer. You've got a massive, nice little nest egg for potentially, something to go towards a house, a car, whatever it might be. But that's the idea behind it. Don't just put it in, try to make like a quick buck. It's probably not going to work out exactly how you want it to be. But then again, it's a really, really, really good time to get started with Sharesies, as they still have a referral bonus. When I shot my last video, I'll link it around here. They're giving away $10. They're only giving away $5 per new sign up if you're using one of these referral links. So if you want to get $5 free, if you want to get started, I've left the link in the description. Make sure you check it out before it's gone. And yeah, it's really interesting. I know a few New Zealand companies have had to foreclose because they just can't keep up with the starving issues. An interesting topic lots of people are talking about is Air New Zealand. I heard they had I can't clarify it I should have probably checked before I'm going to say it, but I heard they borrowed $700 million from the government, which means as they already owned like 51%, it's like they own a big portion right now. And a lot of people are advising to eventually get rid of all your Air New Zealand shares, as they're going to get diluted. So that's not a good thing. So keep in mind, if you're going to invest in Air New Zealand, keep your eye out for the tipping point, or even have a safe, exit strategy or something like that. So that's an interesting one. I'm going to jump behind the screen. Actually, I'm just going to show you the things I invested in and talk about a few potential good ones. Plus, I'll show you some crazy COVID zigzags going on, man. This isn't what you want to see, but it's pretty cool. Everything's on the up though. So jump behind the screen and we'll get into it. Okay, so here we are behind the screen. As you can see, I've only put in a few $100s. It's nothing crazy big. I'm still trying to get my head around this entire share trading thing before I invest. I think this week is going to be the week where I start dropping in some big numbers, which is cool. Just for reference, the auto invest, my brother does actually do this. He's been doing it for a very long time. I think he's got about $20,000 or $30,000 inside the auto invest using this feature, and he's been doing it for a few years. He loves it. As you can see, I'm a really risky person. 19% medium, 80% higher risk, but it's pretty good. I mean, my returns at the moment, as of like 2 days ago, they're starting to be positive again, which is nice. I'm pretty sure if you buy almost, not going to say almost anything, at the lowest point, if you would have bought anything, it would have been green by now. If you're only just starting, don't worry, it's still a really good time to invest. But this is what I'm sort of looking at. So a couple of Australian funds here. The Global Water Fund. I know Auckland's in a bit of an icky situation right now with the water situation, so fingers crossed something's going to happen and that's going to go up. I've also got some core funds, dividend fund, and mid-cap fund. I like the sound of dividend funds because they're going to pay out more each payment cycle they go through. Plus, I've also got New Zealand Property Fund, New Zealand Top 10 Fund, which is pretty cool. The New Zealand Top 50. The Top 10 is way more volatile than the Top 50. Before the crash, it was actually doing really, really, really well. And I've also got a few US funds. And then I've got a few individual companies I'm working on. SkyCity, Air New Zealand, which I just mentioned before. Bliss Technologies, which is something to look out for. I don't even know too much about this company. I got to read up about it, but it's going really well. Canna South, which is a medicinal weed company. General Capital, and Kathmandu. And as you can see, Kathmandu is starting to slowly come up. I'll start with this one. But as you can see, all the dots are where I just started trickle investing. So I was going up, and then bang, hit down. And then it hasn't actually risen that much, which is quite interesting. So if you think about it, right at the peak before it was, before COVID hit, we're at $3.50. Then it went down to $1. So they've had a massive hit. I really liked the brand. I really like the brand Kathmandu. I do believe it's Chinese owners now, but they've got such a strong reputation. I think they're actually going to pull through quite nicely. Air New Zealand, not too sure about. Bliss Technologies, I believe, is a good one to look at. If you just look at their growth chart, even during COVID, it's been pretty good. They just seem to be continually growing. So I might start putting a little bit more money in here. It's they seem like a pretty good company. I'm not going to go too in depth about it, but this is one I'm definitely going to watch. Of course, do your own research before investing. SkyCity, I mean, it has to come right. It has to. Like, it's bounced back not too bad. It's not quite at half, but I mean, after that fire or whatever they had, it's like, it was a pretty scary time, but it has to get better from here. They've got so much money invested in it. It's got to get better, in my opinion. So that's why I believe SkyCity is a good one to look into. What else do I think is good? So pretty much the Global Water Fund, I think, is good. Australian Property Fund, I think, is going to be a good one as well. Australian property is ridiculous. Like, that country isn't getting smaller, it's getting much, much bigger. So I believe that's a good one. Core Fund's pretty good as well. But I think mainly just Kathmandu, Bliss Technologies, and SkyCity are going to be my three main ones I'm going to be looking into, and the Australian Property Fund and the Global Water Fund. So those are my big ones to look out for. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a really cool little platform, I have to admit. I have been watching the numbers a little bit crazy, right? So like, if you just look at any of these companies, they've all had big crashes, and you're just like kid in the candy store. I almost invested like a massive chunk, and then I was like, you don't know enough yet. Like, just chill out and relax. These are just things that you should think about before, getting into it. Yeah, I mean, still a really good time. I'm going to jump back to the camera. You've seen enough of my portfolio anyway, and let's just have a chat. So as you can see, I've got a few different types of investments with different funds and everything like that. I'm going to put my majority of my upcoming money, I think, into funds rather than individual companies. The growth I saw before the drop was majorly in the funds rather than the companies, so I'm going to stick to funds. This is more of a video blog as well. I'm going to look back in this over time. Hopefully I'm going to have a nice big investment portfolio, but anyone can get started in investing, and I do believe Sharesies is probably one of the easiest platforms to get started in. I'm going to start following some pretty big names now. I see on Patreon they have a few big accounts where you can actually pay a monthly subscription, like up to $10 US or something a month, and they're going to show you what they believe of investing in. It saves you sort of doing all the research. But apart from that, yeah, I mean, it's such a good time to get started investing. As you can see by the charts before, everything's slowly starting to come back. The interesting question will be if we do have a global economy crisis, if everything's going to drop even further. It is level 2 day 1 today, so hopefully we can see a progression in the New Zealand economy. If not, it's going to be interesting times. Regardless, if you're going to invest, only invest in what you can afford and what you don't need to survive. But apart from that, yeah, this is just a bit of an update. Let me know in the comments what you guys are looking at investing. And if you haven't yet got started with Sharesies, get the $5 for free. The link is in the description before it runs out. It's gonna go, that's for sure. So make sure you get a hold of that as soon as possible. Anyway, quick update, guys. Let me know in the comments what you're investing in. And yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you on the next video.